you like tough, rugged Texas terrain, then you really don't have to look any further than CTOR, or Central Texas Off-Road. It's about 2 to 3 hours south of Dallas, so not too far to drive, but enough to get out of town. This is the Rim Trail. There's several loops out there. Usually, most of the riding is done on the 4 different loops. I'll talk about them here in a minute. But this is the Rim Trail, which was probably really the funnest loop, I thought. It's not really a loop, it just kind of runs along the rim behind camp. Where I just started there was probably not really where it's supposed to start. I kind of took the road up and then rode along the top of the rim and then headed down the rim here, and then I go across. I end up on what they call the Flatlander Trail, which is just kind of like a big, wide, really good, kind of like a warm-up track, I guess, a warm-up loop, or, you know, for newer riders. It could be a loop for newer riders. But this is the Rim Trail. I'll jump on the Flatlander Trail here, and then I'll jump back up on the Rim Trail here in a minute. But I'd say overall CTOR is, it pretty much has something for everybody. It's kind of like an enduro in that it has sort of, like, I guess you could kind of look at the loops as like different test sections, which I thought was pretty cool. Loop 3 was probably my least favorite. It's kind of like that's kind of like this here, but long. Loop 2 was pretty good. It had probably the most varying terrain, and Loop 4 had a lot of, I guess if you like turning through trees, you're going to love Loop 4. We didn't ride Loop 1, which is the most difficult loop, mostly because we were only here for a day. This was mid-March. I think we were there on a Wednesday or a Thursday, something like that, during spring break of 2018. But anyway, right here, I got back up on the Rim Trail, and you can see it's pretty, it's kind of narrow. It's kind of hard to see here, but it's a lot more off camber than it looks on the video here, or at least parts of it are. This was the first time I rode it, so I'll stop a lot and look around. Right here I stopped, and that's actually the campsite down there. You can go up to the left here and go on up to the ridge up there. I did that a couple of times, and then down goes back to camp. Or you can take off from camp and then come up this way and turn right here. But it was a pretty interesting little trail. Like I said, this is the only time I rode it. We ended up leaving a little bit later this day, and so I just rode this once. But as you get a little bit further through here, you can kind of see that it breaks off in all different areas. So it looks like it'd be a lot of fun to, if you had a weekend, like say you left on a Friday, drove out there, stayed the night, rode all day Saturday, stayed the night, and then rode Sunday, then came back home. It's easily doable from the DFW area. The only downside I'd say to CTOR was that the camping area wasn't great, and that kind of depends on what you like in the camping area. I always kind of like something that's a little bit, a little bit secluded, maybe up in the trees and stuff like that. They did have RV hookups, which is good. They have a shower and a bathroom or toilet, and that was good, like with flushing water and everything. So that part was good. It just the campsite was just kind of, just kind of out in the open. During the summertime, I imagine it gets pretty hot in the camping area there. As you can see, I'm stopping a lot, kind of checking everything out. I only rode this once, but if I had been out there, a couple days, I'd have probably ridden this 2 or 3 times, and I'm sure that once you kind of learn it, you could probably have a whole lot of fun on this. Towards the end, I end up jumping up on top of the ridge instead of taking the trail all the way back to the road. Didn't even realize that the trail had gone that way, but you'll see it here in a minute. But you can see it's kind of along the rim. Kind of follows the elevation, a little bit off camber. I don't know how they rate this trail. I think they rated this as an expert trail. I'm not sure why, but it was actually not too difficult. Trail 1 was the one expert trail, which like I said, we did not ride that one because we were only there for a day, or half a day one day, then half a day the next day. We did stay the night there. But over here, this part of the trail, this is the side kind of closer to the road. And I think right up here is where I end up jumping up on the ridge. I think I should have actually turned to the right, right here, I think, yeah, and gone to the right there. I jump up here, so I kind of came up here and turned around. This is me going back down. And the bad thing about the way I did it is I had to make a pretty sharp turn right here, and it was fairly steep, so it took me, I don't know, probably 20-30 seconds just to make that turn. So as you can see, I cut the video there so you didn't have to get bored with me doing that. But this was probably the most scenic part of the trail. I like the way it went up through the rocks and everything here, but it was a lot of fun. I'd say if you ever had a weekend that you wanted to get out of town and not have to drive too far, I would definitely head out to Central Texas Off-Road and check it out. Spend a couple days out there. It was definitely a lot of fun. I'll probably make a few other videos of some of the other riding out here, but this was the Rim Trail out at CTOR for Central Texas Off-Road.